Sasha Banks allegedly wants to leave the WWE. It's all over the internet today, including in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. And when you look at all the facts, it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. Apparently coming to a head over WrestleMania weekend when Sasha Banks did indeed find out that her and Bayley were going to lose the Women's Tag Team Championships to the Iconics. She had enough. Maybe there was some kind of tete-a-tete behind the scenes, and now she's gone on holiday to try and cool down before WWE and Sasha Banks herself make a decision about her immediate future. Now, full transparency for you, we actually did this video yesterday, but overnight when I woke up, I saw the information. Oh wow, look, now people are specifically saying that Sasha Banks wants to get out of the company altogether. So I re-recorded the intro, but don't worry, there's still plenty of good stuff in the main bit, which we'll get to after I say these iconic words. Sasha Banks, she ain't happy with WWE. She may want to leave WWE. Why? Here's why. Slap your head. The first real eye-opener for this, as I said, was that we got to the Raw after the Show of Shows in 2019 and Sasha Banks wasn't used. Now that kind of doesn't make sense given that she lost her tag team championship with her tag team partner Bayley, and Bayley was there. We all saw what Bayley was doing. She took on Alexa Bliss and lost pretty easily. I'm sure she could have used the assistance of her friend. And I'm sure if that had just come and gone without anything else, we would barely have noticed. As I've already said, there's a lot of other stuff that has come down the well, and all of a sudden everybody's eyebrows are raised as we're trying to figure out A, what's going on with Sasha Banks, and B, more importantly, if she's doing all right. As ever, it's always hard to know in 2019 what is reality and what is fiction when it comes to a social media angle. Sometimes WWE does do it very well, and we're all sat around shrugging our shoulders going, well, I'm not sure if I meant to buy into this, or if I've stumbled across something real. For example, Alexa Bliss blocked Sasha Banks this week, and I understand that's the equivalent of a child saying, that person took my Pop-Tart. But still, there's no smoke without fire, and there's a lot of damn smoke, and there's a lot of damn fire. And what I mean by that is this, because this is a post from Sasha Banks' own social media accounts, where she recently said, due to personal reasons, I had to pull out of my appearance today on Wendy Williams, as we talked about. Sorry to everyone who was looking forward to it. Hopefully the opportunity will be there again later. Hashtag, this is the interesting bit, if only you knew. And then in an even longer tweet, which she used using the Note app, and you take a picture of it, you've seen it, she said, I'm going to tell you the whole thing, and I'll explain why in a second, there is something about the way life happens today that makes it hard to look ahead. There are things that make it difficult to laugh, difficult to live the way you want. There are things that make it almost impossible to trust where we are or to believe in where you want to be. You look around and life is happening way too fast. Sometimes it feels like the moments are gone. Everything happens all at once and right away. We're marching towards a destiny we cannot understand, towards the kingdom of convenience. Then one day you look up and you can't find the meaning. Your crisis of purpose and passion is acting up, but they tell you that's supposed to be normal. Well, I don't want to be normal. I want magic, because that's the place that feels like home. That's the place where I remember what dreams look like, where meaning is effortless and purpose is simple. That's the place where love still matters. I want the feeling of coming home again. I want to feel like myself. I want that magic. Now, I did indeed read all of that out because I want you to have it in the best possible context, because now we throw in some more rumour and innuendo that apparently there was some kind of backstage incident before Raw and Sasha Banks was told that she was allowed to go home. Now, I have no idea how much truth there is in that, and we know what people do on the internet nowadays. They just pull facts out of their ass and pretend they're true. But when you start pushing it all together as the two hands of power get closer and closer, for me at least, I start to worry just a little bit about Sasha Banks. I'm not trying to sound like her mum or anything like that, but when it comes to any kind of performer and their mental health, I just want everybody to be all right. Understand I can't affect that, I can't do much, but I can send a bunch of positive vibes out of the universe and see what comes back. There was even more stuff that suggested it was meant to be Alexa Bliss taking on Sasha Banks and Bayley, and how that would work, I don't know, because Sasha Banks and Bayley up to this point have been put to the baby faces, and Alexa Bliss is most certainly a heel. But there you go, that is the information that is leaking out, and who knows exactly what it means, but I feel like something is here. Throw in that if you're in a new hashtag that Beth Phoenix started earlier in the day, meaning Sasha Banks' posts came after this, at least for my money, you got to imagine something happened away from the cameras and they're hinting at it, but why they're doing that, we do not know. And don't forget, remember this, being a WWE superstar isn't all peaches and cream. I know it's a dream for loads of people and they work hard to get there, but it's a mental struggle too, and if something clicks or something breaks or something just becomes too much, you're always walking on this kind of line. It's like a tightrope. And if it is true that she's not happy and finally something gave, it wouldn't be the most shocking revelation in the world. If you followed Sasha Banks ever since she was called up from NXT to Raw or SmackDown, she hasn't exactly been given a fair crack of the whip, or at least every time she got quite close to it, it was then taken away from her. Throw in that in an interview she did back in January of this year, that's only a few months ago, she admitted that if any woman headlined WrestleMania before she did, she'd struggle with it greatly. And there's some more stuff for you to ponder on. She even said, and I quote, "If somebody else does that, it will break my heart." I understand, I get it. You got to dream, and you got to dream big, but if you don't make it, that takes a long time to come to terms with. So that does all seem quite cut and dry. And at this point, let's throw in all those title reigns that she did have and how none of them really lasted a long time. I mean, that came a gag on WWE TV for a while, especially from the likes of Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, who would say, don't worry how long you're going to hold that belt. Even if you hold it for X amount of days, at least you will have done better than you did before. And now that's kind of carried on with the tag team titles, because what, they won it in January, they lost it early April, they barely even had them 3 months. All of this could have added up and led into what has happened. And even though, again, we don't know for sure, and we are just speculating here as friends, there's a trail, there's a paper trail. You can follow that trail, and it feels kind of solid. It's quite clear that Banks does think that she should be used higher up the card. And again, if you go back to everything that she was doing down in Florida, in developmental or in NXT, I think there's an argument, I think there's a case for that, especially again, because ever since she's been on Raw and SmackDown, it's not like she's lit up the world. I mean, she has had opportunities, she has been given the ball from time to time, she was part of the first ever women's Hell in a Cell, but those short title runs and never been put in a proper top position is gonna wear you down, especially if you're Sasha Banks, where number 2 just isn't gonna cut it. You wanna be number 1, you wanna be on top, and if you're not, you're gonna bust your ass trying to get there. If somebody keeps pushing you down, it's like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. Even if she hadn't left this week for whatever reasons they may be, I think you could already argue that probably the WWE and Sasha Banks don't have the greatest relationship. I mean, she was on Twitter a few months ago when the Revival were threatening to leave and actively said, she quote tweeted them, and the paraphrasing here, but she said, look, if you do go, please take me with you. And sticking with social media, I still can't get over, I still can't believe the amount of hate and vitriol Banks gets when she makes a mistake in the ring. We're all humans, we all screw up, and trust me, if Sasha Banks goes to do a springboard off the ropes and slips, nobody is going to beat themselves up more than Sasha. The last thing she needs is a bunch of people telling her that, especially when she didn't do it on purpose. I personally think, on a slight tangent, that we could absolutely give wrestlers a bit of a break. No one goes in there wanting to stink up the joint. They're all trying their best, and you can critique it, and you can offer your own criticism, that's fine. But when you go on the offensive, I don't think that's cool. And what's even worse than that is when the likes of the Good Brothers and Dash and Dawson are hinting that they want to leave, we all get behind them, we say, good for you, you stand up for yourself. And I've seen this happen. When Sasha Banks does it, all of a sudden it's more of a case of, you should be happy with what you've got, you should stop complaining. In fact, we do that to Naomi too. That ain't balanced, pals. That ain't balanced. Where all this madness is going, I don't know. But again, first and foremost, I just hope that Sasha Banks is doing okay. I mean, WWE actually showed a lot of compassion for Lars Sullivan. He obviously came back this week after apparently suffering a similar kind of episode where he suffered an anxiety or an apprehension attack. And those kind of things do need to be taken into the equation, especially once again when you're doing the kind of schedule that a WWE superstar does. For example, all the What Culture guys, we've just come back from WrestleMania, and of course we're tired and we're worn out, even though we were doing something we absolutely love. But if somebody walked in right now and said, Miller, you're a bald buffoon, usually I'd laugh it off and scare them away. This time I may shed a little tear and just go over there and lay down and try and get over this horrible ordeal. And I wake up tomorrow and go, oh man, I over-exaggerated that. Sometimes when you plant the seed in your brain, it takes a little while before things settle back down. So keep an eye out, and let's hope that when we do get to next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or within a month, Sasha Banks can just come back to TV and keep doing what she loves to do. It's all about passion, it's all about emotion, it's all about feeling, and if Banks has lost that relationship with the company known as WWE, maybe she leaves and maybe she goes somewhere else. I know where she would fit in really well, AEW. They are pushing that division to the moon, and I can actually see Sasha Banks sitting on top of it all. Given the likes of Gallows and Anderson have turned down massive contracts because they seemingly want to leave in September to do their own thing, you have to imagine that eventually rolls downhill. Ty Dillinger's gone. Is Sasha Banks going to be the next one? Like Dean Ambrose, he's out the door. We'll find out what he's doing soon. It's going to be a very interesting 2019 in the world of professional wrestling. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about the Sasha Banks situation, but please try and be respectful. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com, where we'll also update you. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE, and you're already on What Culture Wrestling. Go and watch some other videos, especially those from WrestleMania 35. A lot of them are live from New York City. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you for watching. I am crazy jet lagged today, not complaining. I'm just letting you know in case you look at my face and say, that guy looks like he's about to melt. This is true, I need sleep, but I'm gonna wait up for a few more hours because you know how it works. If I don't wait up for a few more hours, then tomorrow my body clock will be all screwed up because it'll be thinking, why did you go to bed at 3 p.m. in the afternoon? I'm not body, it's nighttime now. But for some reason, we traveled across the seas to distant lands. That still blows my mind. You just get in a tin tube and you let some random guy or some random girl fly you across the world. That ain't safe, man. What the hell are we doing? Short answer or short version of all of this is yes, I don't really like planes. Who thought that? Who thought we were going to start talking about Sasha Banks and then saying Simon Miller doesn't like planes? What an asshole. Somebody kicked my ass. Thanks for the kind words over WrestleMania weekend. Yeah, actually, what he did was a highlight of maybe my entire life, and I have a smile on my face for a while. I will see you again soon.